I've done it all. Yeah. I mean, when I say I've done it all, I mean, I've done it all in terms of the dating, the clubbing, the women. I mean, I've done it. And so I know what life is like. I also know that it's not a satisfying life. I've always been goal oriented. When I was in my late 20s, early 30s, there were things that I wanted to create and accomplish, and I couldn't understand why I couldn't move the needle. But the reason I couldn't move the needle was because my sexual energy, the highest energy that I have, was being put into women and not being transmuted into my goals.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so as a man, if I'm not married, the best time to grow and the best time to put bricks on top of bricks in the most expeditious way is when you're single. Mm-hmm. But if you're distracted by 2, 3 women, then that's where your focus goes. And if that's where your focus
your resources go too.
And we're celebrating Kanye, but hey, he has a lyric where he says, I'm either getting cash or I'm getting. You follow?
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things. So a lot of brothers out here, right, they may be listening to this and they have these aspirations and these goals and these dreams, and they're trying to figure out what's in between that. And typically it's the person you're laying with.
Linal Harris, thank you so much for joining us,
Man,
brother.
I'm excited to be here.
I am excited. I've been wanting to interview you for a long time, bro.
Well, why it take so long? Well, you know what? It's my fault because you've asked me a couple of times.
Yeah, it's okay. We're not here to assess blame today.
I was traveling. I was moving around. Something was going on.
Always. You and I met, 15 years ago?
Wow. Has it been that long?
It's been a while.
It was actually
like 12 years ago.
So my wife and I have been together 14 years.
Yep.
So 14 years, 13 years,
it was
something like that.
12,
so it was a little
ago.
bit after her and I, because we were an item.
Yep.
And then I met you shortly after we were an item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are we speaking about? He and I were part of a panel of married men.
Yes.
And that was a long time ago. But again, so I tell people all the time, like, I know him way before VON.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when your son was born.
Mm-hmm.
You had us out at the party.
I've been on the air 13 years, so it was about the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice, brother.
Yeah.
So, that being said, before we get into the topic, tell our listeners that don't know about you.
Yeah. So, Linal Harris. I'm obviously a host here on WVON, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. every Sunday morning, Inspirational Perspective, where it's the best self-development show on radio. So if you're looking to do anything for yourself, take yourself to the next level in your health, take yourself to the next level with your money, because that's a big deal.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that today, by the way.
Okay.
Because this money comes up when you talk about
absolutely
sex, right?
Yes.
And take yourself to the next level in your relationships or your spirituality and purpose, then that's the show you want to listen to. I'm also known professionally as an executive coach and strategic advisor to CEOs, support Fortune 500 companies with AI fluency, process consulting, coaching, leadership development, things like that.
That's a fancy way of saying he important. And he is. So
well, I do important work. I do purpose-based work.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
And so happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Right?
How about that?
Yes.
What
how
a
about
privilege.
that? You see what I'm wearing?
Yeah, man. Super
right?
dad.
So let's get to it. I was trying to think of a good opening for this. And, honestly, it's low-hanging fruit. We have seen through the years, be it Bill Clinton, and those are just easy names to pick because they're well-known.
Yeah.
Be it a Bill Cosby, be it an R. Kelly, you name it. Oh, so many examples of men that seemingly have the world in the palm of their hand.
Yeah, man.
And but for an inability to be controlled, to be disciplined, to be emotionally intelligent.
Yep.
Today, guys, if you haven't figured it out, we're talking about the importance of sexual discipline for men.
What about Shannon Sharp?
Oh, my God. Like I said, the examples are just, we are rife with cautionary tales, brother. And that's just rich, famous people. But, something a little more relatable to all of us, to the average Joe. When I think of sexual discipline, I think about the number of men, and black men specifically, that, usually men, before they find the one, kind of have a roster, right?
Yeah.
That's just real talk. And then of the roster, they go, this one's special. And so men can become accustomed to dealing with 2-3 different women that provide 2-3 different things, especially physically.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, when you make the big dive,
emotionally too, emotionally,
all of it,
all of it,
right?
Yeah.
And so now you make the big dive, you jump the broom, and you haven't taken any time, either with just that person or by yourself. And now you're laying at this woman's feet all the stuff that she didn't even know.
So wait a second,
she was carrying.
You saying that a man has 2 to 3 on the roster?
Yep.
And then he never retires them until he jumps the broom?
Most don't. And because they think that jumping the broom is the motivation to stop.
To stop, right.
Yep.
And I'm saying that because somebody just heard you say that, and they're like, no. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. The most well-intentioned men have done that. Like,
oh, yeah.
They think they're being altruistic. Like, oh, I done found the one. Y'all got to go.
When I marry her, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done with it, right?
Yeah.
And we're just setting ourselves up. I would love for you to just give us a definition of sexual discipline.
I think it's self-explanatory. Mm-hmm. But when I think about discipline, I think about clarity. When I think about clarity, I think about vision. And so really what it comes down to is, what is a man's vision? And a lack of sexual discipline tells me that the man has no vision. And so if you ask me to define it, that's the first part, is men need vision. Men need to be able to see outside of the right now for something far greater than a momentary pleasure. Because let's put it like this, the sexual desire is the strongest desire that any human being has, right? And that's documented, that's scientific. And so the only way for me to control that is, 1, supernatural. We'll talk a little bit about that. And 2, visionary, where there's something bigger that I see that actually calls me forward beyond the temptation of the moment.
Ooh, I told y'all I had the best guest. So let's talk. We're going to talk about consent, privacy, non-judgmental language, evidence-based information, and inclusivity. So my first question is, what does sexual discipline mean to you in today's context?
Man, I think first, I have to go to my faith. One of the things I tell my wife is that she's third. Now, there are a lot of women listening right now who probably just like sat up straight in their car like, what? But if we're talking about sexual discipline, you don't want to be first. You don't want to be first.
Yeah.
You want God to be first in my life. Because if God is first in my life, then he sees everything that I do and everywhere that I go. And my relationship with God is so important to me. That's one of the things that creates pause. If I ever begin to feel like I'm tempted, is I don't want to lose that connection. Yeah. I don't want to lose that relationship. I don't want to lose like that name I can call on when I'm in trouble. And very clearly, one of the things that can disrupt that connection is a lack of sexual discipline.
Yeah.
Now, I can go into the scriptures, I can go into the science, but I think we know. Okay.
Well, let's talk about this. Just based on what you said, because anything that you don't use will atrophy, right? So what I'm hearing you talk about is a strong connection to your spiritual man.
Yes.
That you can lean on
100%
when the physical man is tripping. How important is it to make sure you take the time to develop that spiritual man?
It's a daily thing. It's not so for me. You know, my health and well-being is incredibly important to me, right? So then it's a daily practice. My relationships, my relationship with my wife, my relationship with my children, it's an important thing to me. Even if I'm traveling, I talk to them every day, right? It's a daily practice. You know what else is important to me? My money. So if my money is important to me, I look at my account every day. It's a daily practice. No different than my spiritual connection. It's a daily practice. I read the word every day. I pray every day. I spend time with my creator every day. He's my creator. It's an important connection. It's the most important connection because that's the connection for me that basically informs every other connection I have, including my work. Most importantly, my relationships, right? And then my money. So from there, that's why I say you can't really talk about sexual discipline without bringing some kind of supernatural connection into it.
But then you gave us an order.
Yeah.
And you said she's third.
She's third.
We ain't talked about what's in the second spot.
That's a good catch. Yeah. That's a good catch. So what's in the second spot is his will for my life.
Okay.
My purpose. Right? So my connection with him, but then what he put me here for becomes number 2, and then she's number 3. There
is a song called, it's by Brian Courtney Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And in it, he says, like in the Vamp, where he's kind of testifying, he says, I want to be faithful to my wife and children.
Yeah.
And I never heard anyone put the children in that.
Yeah.
And it really made me think. He was talking about having the discipline, but it's not just about the spouse, especially when you have a family.
No, when you have a family, it's about, because, here's the thing. If I stepped out, then, there could be ramifications. One of those ramifications could be divorce, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my son is 9 years old. He needs me. So who did that? I could say she did, but if I kicked it off, then it's we did.
Yeah.
You get where I'm going? And so that's a big deal for me, how he grows, how he develops. That's a big deal. But I have a daughter. Man, do little girls need their daddies, right? And however I treat my wife will become the expectation of how she sees or what she believes a man should do for her.
Mm-hmm.
So if I treat my wife poorly, I'm out in the streets on a regular basis, then that's what she sees. That's what she's going to expect. And she's my princess.
Yeah.
So I want her to expect more. And so part of it is, how am I showing up? And again, first segment of this, I talked about vision. I have a vision for my family that informs the decisions I make today.
I wanted to call in and say, and I know this is a bit off the books, but most mafias will not allow somebody to advance through the ranks if he cannot control his sexual proclivities. They'll give you a wife, and they might give you a mistress, but somebody that keeps bouncing around and doing a lot of wild stuff, they really look down on that stuff. And in the day, that was the quickest way to get you put in the dirt, being too much led by your
you're
nose.
loose end. You're a loose end.
Yep. Unpredictable.
Well, in fact, get this. 75,000 cases of sextortion every year. But so talk about the mafia. What do they care about? Money. You want to know how much it costs men? $724 million
a year.
It's costing men who are being extorted because of their lack of sexual discipline. So that's the other part. So Al hit it on the head. Yeah. What does the mafia care about?
Money.
Money.
That's it. Thank you, Brother Stone. We appreciate that. I love that you're able to bring those kinds of figures, because that's really, it's not that, we can have an ethical conversation about this, and there's plenty of room for that. And then there's a
rational conversation.
Right. There's a rational,
it's logical.
Financial conversation about this.
Yeah.
So we had a question for him I got via text, and it was concerning how you eat, because you haven't always been where you are.
No.
Right? How did you evolve to this mindset and this heart set?
Yeah. Well, first, a lot of self-work. And the way I talk about the Creator, my connection to God, is something that evolved. But there was one point where I was completely separate. So imagine a man that's completely separate, who has means or could be considered high value in terms of that. And all the things that come with it came with it.
Yeah.
And so, because, anyone listening, it's easy for you to say, well, this guy, he could talk like that. He's married. He's got children, whatever.
He's always done all the right stuff.
Yeah, maybe he's always been that way, right? He ain't really been out here. No, I've done it all. Yeah. When I say I've done it all, I've done it all in terms of the dating, the clubbing, the women. I've done it. And so I know what life is like. I also know that it's not a satisfying life.
So you do know then the some of the direct consequence of a lack of sexual discipline.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'll give you, I'll tell you this. I've always been goal-oriented. And so when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, there were things that I wanted to create and accomplish, and I couldn't understand why I couldn't move the needle. But the reason I couldn't move the needle is because my sexual energy, the highest energy that I have, was being put into women and not being transmuted into my goals.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so as a man, if I'm not married, the best time to grow and the best time to put bricks on top of bricks in the most expeditious way is when you're single. Mm-hmm. But if you're distracted by 2, 3 women, then that's where your focus goes. And if that's where your focus
your resources
goes,
go too.
And we're celebrating Kanye, but hey, he has a lyric where he says, I'm either getting cash or I'm getting. You follow?
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things. So a lot of brothers out here, right? They may be listening to this and they have these aspirations and these goals and these dreams, and they're trying to figure out what's in between that. And typically it's the person you're laying with. So a lot of times for women, the consequences of sex are very clear, right? You could get pregnant. You can get emotionally linked to a guy you do not want to be emotionally linked to. And many men, we wear it like a coat, right? It's like, oh, well, we don't get emotionally tied in that way. If she does get pregnant, I'm not necessarily tethered to the child that way. We see a lot of men who have children, I'm not calling them fathers, as a result of that, right? And so a lot of times they can wear like a coat, take it on, take it off. Whereas if you really want to, but most of them, and you know this, most of those men, when you look at where they are and what they're doing, it's not much.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's not much.
They're not living up to their potential.
They're not living up to the potential. In fact, there's actual research on NBA players, NFL players, and professional sports players that shows that when they get married, you see a direct correlation in their stats in terms of an upward swing in their performance and their longevity in the sport.
You know, are you familiar with the content creator Kev on Stage?
I am. Yeah.
Sure. He has, and I should
had him on the show before. On the Sunday.
Oh, nice. I should have pulled the reel up, but I remember it vividly because he did it recently. Mm-hmm. And he just talked about, you know, his ascension, so to speak. And like you said, all the things that come with that. And how does he avoid all those things? And he said, it's very easy. He said, I'm not going to ruin the relationship with my wife over something temporary and fleeting. He said, I'm out here trying to sign deals. He said, my wife looks my deals over, lets me know what's good and what ain't. He said, she understands stuff better than I do. Who going to help me ink a 6-figure deal?
Right.
Not her.
Not right.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, no, I absolutely, with the things, and it's just like you said, he talked about his vision. He said with the things that he is trying to accomplish, he needs a partner.
He's a man with vision.
Exactly.
And so it's difficult for a man who's listening to this to understand how you can say no if you don't have vision. You have to have vision. Even when you look at sexual transmutation, right? Napoleon Hill talked about this in his book, Think and Grow Rich. Chapter 13 is the 10th step to riches, right? Should have been one of the top 3, but he had to go through a few others. But sexual transmutation, the ability to take my goals and push my sexual energy into those goals is something you have to do even when you're married. Because here's the thing. Now I only have one woman available to me. There's times where she doesn't feel good. There's been times after pregnancy that, this is people, I can't be with one woman. That's a phenomenal time for you to take that energy and create something. Lay bricks, brother. Lay bricks. But if you don't have a vision and if you don't have goals, then the next goal is going to be what you see on the TV.
How many men suffer from lack of vision?
A lot. And by the way, if we talk about black men, a whole lot, because I've been in plenty of conversations with brothers where we get on the call. And I say, hey, man, let me ask you, what do you see is possible? Now, if I say that to you, Atiba, that seems like a real simple, real simple question. So you'll begin thinking like, well, what do I see as possible? What do you see in the next 6 months? What do you see in the next year? You might be like, Linal, I want to take the show here. Within my health, I want to do this. You may see possibility for your life. But if you've been hit over the head a few times, if every time you try to accomplish something or take it to the next level, the rug was pulled from underneath you, all of a sudden it's like, why would I think about something that's gonna make me feel failure or make me feel like a failure? Instead of creating dreams and aspirations that take me to the next level that constantly get pulled from underneath me, let me just live my life. And so a lot of brothers are just living their life. And so as a result, they are then completely tied to whatever comes up in the moment. What's the one thing that comes up in the moment for most men? Sexual desire. Yep. And we're surrounded by it. Turn on the television, go on social media. Even as a married man who is a follower of Yahushua, there are things that popped up. I'm like, this not on my feed. What's this? Like, what is this? Right. Somebody's page got taken over, and every time I'm at a decision point.
And that's you actively avoiding it. What happens when you as a man put that in your algorithm?
So let's talk about what pornography does to the brain.
Because pornography just isn't X-rated stuff. You can get plenty of pornography on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Exactly. Well, see what it does. So number one, social media itself is a dopamine. It is a dopamine switch.
Yeah.
And so it's flooding your brain with dopamine. Now, the problem with that is, guess what your goals do? When you accomplish a goal, you get hit with dopamine. But which one comes faster? Social media feed or the actual goals that you're creating in your life? We all know that a goal takes much more time.
Yeah.
And so if I'm constantly getting dopamine hits for nothing, really, then my goals are constantly being usurped, which is one of the reasons most people have a hard time accomplishing their dreams, living out their goals, and actually achieving the things they most desire.
Yeah.
Because they're being flooded or they're being usurped.
And distracted.
Or seduced by dopamine in other ways. For men, pornography.
He can change partners and sexually dance and have 12 babies by 12 different girls in the end of one single year. He can change partners and sexually dance once a week and have 52 babies by 52 different girls at the end of one single year. He has the potential to change partners and sexually dance, because he's really cute, once a day and have 365 babies at the end of one single year. So why is it that women are birth controlled instead of men?
Thank you so much for that, Mama D. Had you ever given that any thought?
Well, number one, the pill changed the world. It changed the world. What we're living in now is a post-pill era. Mm-hmm. The fact that women can actually control having a baby. Because before, there was nothing you could do about it. The reason why they're not thinking about male birth control is because what the elites know that we don't is that while women are bound by oxytocin and the male bonding, men are bound by vasopressin. So what does this do? If I'm a man, I've had sex with 12 women in 12 months, and I now have 12 children, what threat am I?
To whom?
To the establishment.
Yeah, none.
I'm not a threat.
Right.
Why? Because scientifically, what that does is it creates pair bonding. That pair bonding means that I am now more apt to stay close and defend these 12, which means that instead of running off and being a revolutionary, I'm more willing to bow and say, well, no, that's okay, because I got these 12 women, I got these 12 children. So to answer her question, that's why.
Yeah.
Because a single man with sexual control is more dangerous than a single man with lots of children and no sexual control.
That's right. As you were talking, I began to think of Sean Kemp.
Right? There you go.
Cautionary tale.
Yes, Michael Beasley. Yeah. You can keep going down. All these men have double-digit children.
Yeah. And they could, quote unquote, afford them, and they still get
Until
caught
they
up.
couldn't.
Until they couldn't.
Until they couldn't.
Right?
Man, Mr. Harris, how can you help these brothers more so, I would say, in a young 20s, middle age 30s, even 40s, how to get to the bag, because I think a lot of
that's what we're talking about. Let me be very clear about something.
Thank you, Mike. We know where you're going.
Yeah. But here's the thing: the one thing that drives a young man from the age of about 15, I don't know, what was it for you, Atiba?
15 is about right.
15. I mean, by the time you turn 15, you have that first nocturnal emission, and something wakes up inside of you.
Yeah,
like everything changes. I know for me, I was looking at the teachers, I was looking at my classmates. I'm like, man, I mean, my level of focus, like just, and by the way, it's biological, right? Let's go to what Art is saying. It was biological. This is how God created us. But without the right guidance and insert a system that says, how can we take that and pervert it? How can we take that in a way that completely has you lose any of your creative power? And so then you turn on television, you're like bombarded by it. The next thing you know, you're bound by pornography. Like that's what's killing these young men's financial futures. 100%. Anytime on OnlyFans, someone can get on social media or on a platform and reveal herself and make millions of dollars. Where's that money coming from? That's coming from young men.
Yep.
Yeah, young men. What if we you say, oh, well, he ain't spending that much. He's spending $50 a week. Let's take that same $50 and put it in the S&P 500 every week from the age of 16 or the age of 20. Where will he be when he's 50? He'd be a millionaire. So sex is one of the things that is robbing our financial future as men, especially black men. And if we could create some level of discipline around our sexual behavior, especially when we're young, oh, man, what we could create is it would be, mind-blowing.
But here's the deficit, as you point that out.
Yeah.
There in very few cases, is there someone to intervene at 15 and 16 and 17 and 18?
100%.
Because when I was 18, in my mind, the goal was as many women as possible.
And part of the reason for it is because we're unwilling to have conversations like this.
Yep.
Like, so it becomes a thing that is taboo, but it's still in your face. How does that work?
Right.
Like, it's in my face when I turn on the television, when I pick up my phone, but we can't have a productive conversation about it. And so I love that WVON did this. I love that you all did this on your show, because these are the kind of conversations that we need to be having with not only young men, but very mature men as well. Because there's some brothers out there who are my age and your age, Atiba, who, one of the reasons they can't really put it all together.
For the record, we're about the same age, but go ahead. I'm just
yeah, I believe so. I'll be 50. You about 50? What
52.
52, yeah. So, yeah. I'm talking about right there. 50, 52, 55. Yeah. Who still trying to figure it out is because the lack of focus due to their lack of sexual discipline.
And lack of vision.